and welcome to MalMakes. Today we're doing a painting based on Earthbound Beginnings. This is the full version. If you're interested in the time-lapse, you can click on the card here. Otherwise, let's get started. So this painting is also going to kind of function as a smash stage because it's Magicant. And with the pink clouds, it's more Earthbound Beginnings than Earthbound, so that's why I'm calling it that. And I like the stage in Smash Brothers. I think it's really pretty. I like all of the little elements they bring in to reference the games, but I think it's really busy and I want to make it just pretty. So I'm going to be doing a gradient back here with a pastel blue-violet color fading down into a very, very, very light pastel pink. And after that, I think I might put some stars here because it's looking a little like twilight dusk looking, so you would start to see some of the stars come out. I might put a few higher level clouds in violet back here. Haven't decided if I want to do that yet. I might not. It might get too busy. But the main thing is I want to paint all of these pink clouds very, very fluffy, very realistic. In the Smash stage, like the 3 main platforms, or 4-ish platforms, they're really lumpy, and I want them to be very fluffy, like actual clouds. So that's how I'm going to paint them. So their shapes are going to change a little bit, like this one over here is going to get quite large. And then I'll start to build these little shell buildings and then the flying man building on top of all of those, and then I'll just kind of mask their bases with some more fluffy clouds. So the first thing I have to do is that gradient, so I'm going to mix up all my colors and then paint that on the canvas. Because my colors are so light, you can't really see exactly where I've drawn the clouds, but my left platform is here, my center one is here, and then my right one is over here. And then I've blocked in just a few other little clouds to fill in the space so it looks more natural. And I'm going to start by blocking in the darker parts of the cloud. So if the light is all coming from the top right, all of the bottom left parts of each of the clouds are going to get that shadow too. But because the way clouds are round in a space and the light hits them, there are going to be other variations to that rule. So I will be blocking in different parts with my darkest color first, and then later as I work into my lighter colors for the highlight parts of the clouds, I'll be filling those in as well. So you'll start to see them take shape. It was a little frustrating to get all of the different shells and the buildings drawn, just because I'm trying to make their spirals right, and then these little vertical ones I'm trying to make sure they're very straight up and down, whereas the buildings I'll kind of tilt to the left a little bit like a shell would, like a conch shell. So I had to kind of draw them straight up to figure out the spacing at the bottom, and then I had to like tilt the tops of them over. But I think they look good. So I've started to fill in the highlights of all of these using a liquid white on a tiny brush, so I can see where they are. I can erase everything else so it's not messy and like staining my paint later and blending in with the colors I'm using, which is already happening with the white, but that's fine, I'll fill it in later. So I'm just going to finish blocking in the shells here, and then I have the Flying Man building, which is from Mother 2, but it's put in the stage here. And I've drawn in the sides of this, but I have to figure out exactly how I want to do the roof, making sure it's perfectly symmetrical with my center line that I've drawn. And then I can start to build all of these buildings with paint, because right now they're done in pencil or chalk or just outlined in white. So then I can start to fill in the pinks and the values and the texture of them so they look like they belong there. I finished up all of the shell houses and the spires that are on these clouds, and they were kind of fun to paint. It was slow going to get it started to figure out exactly where I wanted the shadows to go and how I wanted to bring in the texture. And then once I started to get into the highlights, it went a lot faster. So for my colors, I started with my primaries, and I have some Dioxazine purple for right here, which looks black, but it's a very dark violet color. And then I have some titanium white. So I started with my shadow color, and then I started to work into lighter and lighter colors until I started to build all of the different shapes for this and like the roundness and the curves of these spirals. And it turned out really well. I just have to finish the doors. So they're kind of a burnt umber, burnt sienna color. So I'm going to fill those in with a mid color, bring in their shadows and highlights, and then do the little tiny door handles. And I've drawn in the Flying Man tower over here, but I haven't filled that in yet because the colors are so different than these. So I'm going to be working on that soon. I also drew in some stars with chalk pastel because I wasn't sure if I wanted to add those in, but I think they make it look more dreamy, and that's the aesthetic I'm going for. So I will be filling those in with titanium white at some point because I'm happy with their placement and sizes, and it's starting to really come together, and I'm really liking how it's looking. I finished up the fences here, and the very last thing I want to do is make everything look like it belongs in the clouds, because right now they're just kind of stuck to the front of the clouds there. And like this one especially seems very strange, like it's just kind of on top of everything. So I'm trying to push them back a little bit by taking the same colors I had for the clouds and just like tapping on a little bit in some spaces to bring up clouds over the front of them. That's just masking a little bit of the bottom corners, because then they're really in and part of the clouds. So it really helps with that illusion effect a little bit. And like this cloud here, I want to make this a little bit bigger and taller because that one looks weird and particular to me. So I'm just taking these colors and then just re-tapping in a little bit to build these clouds a little bit bigger. For signing my name, I think I'm going to take some of my violet colors just to keep it kind of in the same vein and sign it down in the bottom right corner. Normally I would use a white or a black, and then occasionally when I do paintings that just doesn't work based on everything. And because there is no solid carbon black or Mars black, and I think white's not going to stand out on this light violet color, I am going to just go with a darker violet color like some of the ones in the shells here, because I think that'll help draw that color down there and it will nicely blend with the rest of the canvas. And we're done! We have Magicant from Earthbound Beginnings. If you're interested in this piece, you could buy a poster or a phone case, or bid on this original canvas. There's links down below. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon. You can find out more at supportmal.com. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of MalMakes, and I'll see you again here for another video game painting.